everyone out there. Welcome to Solve It Out. This is Annie here, and today's project will be a quiz app built in Nextjs. This is going to be a quite an easy quiz app, and if you see, but it will have some in-depth knowledge about the use effect and the timers. So let's give a quick demo and click on start quiz, and then you can see the time for this question is 15 seconds, and there are 4 options with the question here. Let me select a wrong answer. Immediately it will move to the next question, and this question time limit is 10 seconds, and also I'm selecting a wrong one with the next question. Moving on, time for this one is 20 seconds, selecting a wrong answer. You can see the score here is 0 out of 3 with a restart quiz option. Okay, now let me select all the correct answers. If here come with it, and I select all the correct answers for everyone for the questions. And you can see the score when you have done all the correct, it's like 3 out of 3 with a nice confetti effect on it. So this quiz you can like attempt multiple times, restarting the quiz and seeing the scores like currently immediately. So let's see how we can do this quiz app in Next.js 15. So let's jump on to the code. So here I have installed Next.js 15 along with Tailwind CSS and TypeScript. Next, I will like to install 3 more libraries. One is for the Confetti and another is for the width and height using the React use. Along with that, I want to install the ShatCN. ShatCN UI helps us to create the components in a quite easy way. And with a single npm install and downloading the components, you can exactly change it to your own type also. And also it is like predefined with their own components. So using ShatCN, I think, is quite an easy way to showcase your React components. What we are going to do is select npm here and then select this command. We go back, we see that we have installed like the installation of Confetti and React use is done. And now we will do the npx ShatCN latest init. We will select the New York, the neutral, yes, and the ShatCN is installed successfully. Here is the lib folder that has come up with the function of the CSS values. So our npm installations are done. Next, what we are going to do is that here in the main home page, I'm going to remove this whole div and going to paste a main tag where it will have a class name of flex, minimum height screen, flex column, item center, align items, and this is justify content center, and with a padding of 24. This quiz component, we are going to create it. So change the code to this. So let's first create the quiz component. And here we'll create a components folder. Here we'll import the quiz. And our component here is imported. Let's now run it and check whether our app is working. Here you can see our quiz is right here in between. So now let's move on to the other components. Now, in our quiz component, what we need is that a button. That to start the quiz or to restart the quiz, we need a button. So here, I'm going to select the npm of the button, and we are going to do the npm install. So once this is done, you can see inside our components folder, the UI folder is created, and we have got our button.tsx. Now here, if you want to change any of the color or some specification of the button, you can easily change and it will be implemented throughout your code. Now we move to our quiz component. Now here, at first, I want to add up a set of questions. That is, I'm using a const variable here with the questions here. And you can use another JSON file or you can directly call from the backend data. But to keep it simple, I have just used an array of questions here where the fields are like the object has the question, the answer options, the correct answer, and the time limit. You can see I have changed the time limit in each question so that you can have you have the knowledge how to change give different time limits to each particular question. Next, what I want to do is that inside our quiz, I want to call my bunch of state values. Here, the use state will import it. So what the state value here is that currently this error is coming because we are not using it. So what I have defined is that this is like the quiz started, the current question index, the score, quiz completed, answered questions, and this is the use window size. This use window size we are calling from the React use. So this will help us to get the width and height of the window that you are using because many screens have different window heights and width. So to match with that, we are going to use window size. So next, before the return, what we are going to do is that if the quiz is not started, that is when we need the start quiz, like we were selecting the start button, like on click of the start button, we are going to start the quiz and not then it will be just the start button and the heading. So to put that conditional div, here is the conditional rendering is that if not quiz started, the quiz started is this state. Then what we are going to do is that show the h1 tag, of course, the quiz app, and then show a button here where the start quiz will be present. For the button, we can change it to our button component, UI button. And then what we needed is that we need to write this on click start quiz function. So what we want to write in the start quiz function. The start quiz function will be, of course, an arrow function where you will have that set start quiz, like quiz started will be, of course, true. And then the current question index will be set to 0, score to 0, and quiz completed to false, and set answered questions is 0. That is, we are whatever is like when you're restarting it or when you're starting the quiz, the set of use states should have their initial value at first. So start quiz function maintains that the initial values are all set to the state functions. Next, after this conditional rendering, we'll move to the main return. We'll remove this quiz and we'll add up a div here with the width full max width of MD and MX auto margin and a text center. Next, we'll add up the heading here, that is the H1 tag with a text 3XL font bold and the MB like margin bottom is 6 and quiz app. Next, we'll call our question component. So in our question component, what we are going to pass is that we'll pass the set of questions, which will have the current question index. On answer, we'll pass handle answer, and on timeout, we'll pass handle timeout. This functions we are going to define, but before that, we need to keep a track that how many questions has been answered. So to do that, I'm using a p tag while it will show the question and then the current question index. As the index starts from 0, but we start from like 1 to 3, so it will be +1, current question index +1 of questions dot length. So it will keep a track how many questions you have already answered. And this question component we are going to create. So just let's first create the structure. Import it here. So we have imported the question component. Now what is needed is that let's first create the question component, and then we are going to do the handle answer, handle timeout, all the functions. For the question component, at first what we are going to do is create a interface of question props, where it will have a question object consisting the question, options, correct answer, and time limit. This is our this question object. So here, this is the question that we are going to pass, and on answer will be of type void, like a string with a void return type, and on timeout, it will be a void return type, like no particular type is added to that return value. So what we are getting here in the question is that as a prop, it will be like question, on answer, on timeout, and the question props is assigned to it. So this on, like here it is saying that it's defined but never used. So on using, this error will be gone. Now next what we are going to do is that first let's create the question body, and accordingly we'll write the function. So at first here will be a div with a h2 tag, like consisting the question. Here we can directly say that question.question can give us the main question here. Next, we should give the answer options. Here you can see that first let us import the button. With the div here, we are mapping out the question dot options, and then for each button, we are giving the index and the option. The option we are passing on to the on answer, like if I click the button there, what it should happen, like what state it should take the answer option, which answer the user have chosen. That has to be passed to the on answer function. So the class name is with full text left and justify start, just the basic CSS, and the option is shown here. After this div, let's create the time left part. That is how much time you're utilizing for each question. So we can do this with our time left option. Now this time left, we should define it. We'll be defining the time left with our use state using. And as we are using use state, we should definitely use client up here. What we have done here is that in the use state, we have given the question dot time limit. That is the time limit that I have passed right here in the question object. So using this time limit here as question dot time limit, and this one is portraying how much second is left. Now for the time left part, we need to keep two things in mind. That is, one, the time will keep on decreasing, and once the question is changed, the time must be set to this question dot time limit that is passed in our object JSON. So first we are going to point out our second option, that is we should, like on each new question, our time limit should be refreshed to the question time limit. So we'll add a use effect here. The use effect where set time left part will be given to the question dot time limit, and whenever in the dependency array, what it will happen that whenever the question will change up, the time limit will be assigned to the time limit option that we have passed from the JSON. This is reset timer when a new question appears. Next, with the time second left, what we want to use is that a progress bar. That is how the time is going down. So we can use a shatcn, but here I have just used a normal progress bar. That is consisting with a class name like bg gray, rounded full, and then the style here is a multiplication, like on time left by question dot time limit into 100%. Like the percentage of time will go down accordingly, and to give it a smooth effect, I have used the transitional, duration, and ease linear. That is, this is helping it to move the progress bar, and the counting value is given in the style. So it will be working as a progress depending on the time left like the how much seconds are left. So that will be shown here with a smooth transition. So here we are left out with on timeout. What we have to do is that whenever we are calling, like here in the use effect, we are starting like every question, whenever it will change, it will reset the timer. But how exactly the timer will go down, like it will decrease, and with each new question it will start from their given time and then decrease it one by one. And on timeout you need to call it up that it shouldn't go below 0. So to do that, we are going to use this use effect, where we are defining a timer value here with a set interval given like on basis of every second. What it will happen is that it will reduce the time at first, like -1, giving like you're given 20 seconds, it will do -1 each second. And whenever, if the previous time is less than equal to 1, that it should not go below 0. That time, what you need to call is clear interval there, and you have to give on timeout that this question timeout has been completed. You have to move to the next question. So that part is getting checked in this use effect, and we are calling clear interval so that there is no overlapping between two use effects. So our question component is done. We save this and move to our quiz component. So what we have passed in our on answer is that the handle answer and handle timeout. We have used our on answer in our question.options, that is on click of the question what it will happen, and we have passed our on timeout that whenever a question will complete it, on timeout is called. So we have to define those function in this quiz.tsx. So here on answer, we have to first define the handle answer. Here is our handle answer arrow function, where we have taken the answer as a string, and set answered questions, we have set it as that the increasing index. Now, if the answer is equal to the correct answer, that is, we are passing the correct answer in our question object. Now, if we have the correct answer, then we are setting up our score to 1, like we are increasing our score. And then what we are doing is that we are increasing the question index. That is, if there is more question left, that is, the current question index is less than the question length, then we are moving on to the next question. Else, what we are saying that our quiz is completed. There are no more questions left. So our handle answer was quite easy. Next will be our handle timeout. In our handle timeout, what we are doing is that we are again increasing the question, and we are checking is that like if there is no question is answered and the time limit is gone, so will be moving to our next question, and the question index will be increased up. Else, if there is no question, then the quiz is completed. So our initial question answer part is done. What is now left is that if all our answers is correct, or if we haven't given any quiz answer, then how we will show the result. So our result part is left. Here we will add that conditional part here. So before our return, we are going to add the conditional part. That is, if our quiz is completed. Also, we are going to check if it is a perfect score. That is, score is equal to is the question length. That means we have given all the correct answers. What I have done here is that I have taken like 2 headings, where is the quiz app and the quiz completed, and has given a check here is that is the perfect score. If it is a perfect score, then we are going to show this confetti. It's coming from the React Confetti. Here we are importing it, and we are passing the width and height that we have got from our use window size, this one, in our confetti, so that it can maintain the width and height of the screen. Else, if it is not a perfect score, then we are going to just normally show our scoreboard with the question length. And then we have this again a button where we can restart our quiz, and on the on click, we are passing the start quiz. For the button here, we can definitely use our chat CN button. Therefore, our app is almost completed. Now let's run up and check. Here we can see we have a perfect like the first screen having a start quiz button. We click on start quiz, there is our time is going down and we need to select like clicking the right answer. It's taking 10 seconds. Click the right answer and starting from the 20 seconds. On the correct answer, the scoreboard is 3 out of 3 and the confetti is working correctly. Let us restart our quiz and let's give some wrong answers out here. You can see we have just scored 1 out of 3 and there is no confetti present. I think all the components are working fine. So with this comes to an end of our today's content. Let me know the doubts you got or how much you have liked the video in the comment section. The link to this code will be given in the description, the GitHub link. So till then, this is Annie signing off. Let's meet in another new project.